Hey everyone, Meteorologist here in Tuttle here with you, watching a couple of tornadoes that have happened over the last few minutes across far northeast Oklahoma, right along the Arkansas state line. So we're going to cover that particular tornadic storm in that area, and for you folks that might have friends or relatives that live in that area of far eastern Oklahoma. All right, so this is the look at the radar. I've zoomed in at the Hook Echo, but you back it out a little bit, give you the idea. Change this to a one panel view. So here's a look at the northeast Oklahoma sectors. This is well east of Tulsa. Again, this is right along the state line of Oklahoma and Arkansas. If you look here in Oklahoma City, everything's fine, quiet. West of town, not a raindrop. The rain pretty much runs right along the I-35 corridor for the rest of this evening here. But all the moderate rain will continue out in eastern Oklahoma, and then up here in far northeast Oklahoma, and the leading edge, that little shear axis from it's favorable for like a tropical type air mass. Almost think of it like if you have like a tropical storm that comes in Florida or something, and you have a little shear with that could produce little weaker tornadoes. And so this particular case, we have some wind shear in northeast Oklahoma, kind of in a favorable type, similar pattern, even though it's not the exact same. It's similar as far as the wind shear goes. So it's going to produce potentially a tornado, and we've had that here in northeast Oklahoma. There were two areas, one south of Tahlequah. It produced one tornado briefly, very small, just did a little bit of minor damage to some barns. And then the secondary one here out in far eastern Oklahoma, and that's had a couple of confirmations of a tornado on the ground here recently. All right, so we're going to take a look at this as well. Now, what I often do is put up a couple of different parameters so I can get a good look at the storm. So first off, you have the Hook Echo. We're zoomed into the Hook region, and what you want to do is you want to overlay with the rotation track algorithm of the radar, the velocity couplet, which is this red and green couplet here. This is then the tip of the Hook Echo, and we have a blue area for the cross correlation coefficient, aka the tornado debris detector, if you will. That also correlates to the rotation track. So good indications are that we still have a tornado that is doing some minor damage in this area. So you need to seek shelter if you live in far eastern Oklahoma. So the vicinity that we're talking about here, I'm going to put up some roads. Let's see, let's go back here to the first panel. All right, so we're south of Maysville, south of Sycamore. We're northeast of Cold Cord. Cold Cord, we're about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, about 15 miles to your northeast, and about 4 miles west of the Arkansas border. It's right along this little river up here, which is actually it's a Spavinal Creek stream, is where it's crossing over, which is near County Road 70. And intersection of that, what else we got out here? County Road 471. So that's the closest intersection of this particular tornado. This is west of North Road 4710, and coming up on East Road looks like 460, and that's going to cross over into South 700. So that's the exact location where this tornado is located, and this will probably put the track of the tornado between the town of Sycamore and Maysville. If it even holds together that long, and it may not. As far as communities involved, a lot of trees out here, thank goodness. So that's the first signs of good news. So that means a lot of the damage that is picking up right now is likely trees. Looks like there have been at least a couple of maybe a couple of little farming communities out here. Hopefully, though, it just missed those and just gets the trees that we detected on the radar. But there's a lot of farmland out here, non-populated, which is good news. There's a couple little areas, and some of these actually could be work sites, the way they look. So that would be good news, hopefully uninhabited at the current time since it being holiday. But anyway, that is where things are currently. Let's see, if we look at the future track from this, it goes over this patch of trees, all right? And then we scale up past the trees, over another creek. Let's see, more trees, don't see any houses in the path. So good. So all this is good news, and then about another 5-6 minutes it'll cross over. Looks like a couple of farmhouses around 52 minutes after the hour. So that would be the first time it might hit some civilization, so to speak. So hopefully it won't even be on the ground at that point. So that is a track of the tornado out here in far eastern, northeastern Oklahoma. Now, this particular storm is the only one that has a tornado warning on it. the wording from the National Weather Service just a couple minutes ago. Tornado warning continues for northwestern Benton County in northwestern Arkansas, northeastern Delaware County, in northeastern Oklahoma until about 8:30. Severe storm capable of producing a tornado located 4 miles northeast of Cold Core. This is a while ago. This is actual storm, not the actual tornado part itself, which we were looking at. Moving north at 25 miles per hour. Remember, it's a large storm, but a very tiny needle in a haystack that we're plotting on the map. Let's see here. Of course, reminder not to stay in a mobile home. J, Colcord is in the area. Xena, Cherokee City, Grove, Maysville, and Lake Euclid State Park. So those are the communities in and around the vicinity of this particular storm. All right, the storm's down to the south from there. Right now, non-tornadic, but severe. In other words, typical hail and wind with those, as is always the case. Sometimes when you get storms in May. The only storm we're really focused on and concerned with is the one that's going to be coming up between Sycamore and Maysville, kind of passing in between. If you live in the town of Maysville, go ahead and be in your shelter. Same thing for Sycamore, just in case it does change its path just a little bit. What you would do always is stay in the center and lowest floor of any property or home. So any business, whatever's out there. If it's a mobile home, you can't be in a mobile home. You got to leave. So you always got to prepare ahead of time on those situations. Know exactly where you're going to go. Always have a game plan. Never ride out a tornado in a mobile home. Just they're not built for those. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Still, all indications are still a tornado that is doing some minor damage as far as probably trees in this area as it looks right now. Waiting for some confirmations from any storm spotters in that area. There were some earlier. That was about 10 minutes ago where they did see a brief touchdown. There may not be any in that vicinity right now at the moment. Not the best storm chasing terrain, road network wise, so to speak, in some cases, where these county roads end. Plus, with the heavy rainfall, driving those things, man, it's like the old phrase, slick as snot. That's kind of what that is on a dry county road in Oklahoma. When it first rains, you slide all over the place. All right. So again, as a reminder, we're in far northeast Oklahoma. Tornado warning in effect. You guys in Sycamore, stay in your shelters. Maysville, stay in your shelters. J, it'll pass well east of you, but you are under the polygon. In other words, the drawn red area here on the map, which means you will be officially underneath that tornado warning. Now, thank goodness technology is a lot better than that. So not only can we give you the general area consensus, we can draw you a line as to where the tornado is likely to track. So you can give or take a couple miles off this track, but that's typically where it's going to go. So we're able to do that nowadays than in the past. And each year we try to make more and more advances in this aspect. Probability of a tornado is only at 33%. I was watching this earlier. This value was up around 76% when the tornado occurred around Tenkiller, just south of there, near just northeast of Weber's Falls, I believe. So this number could go a little higher, indicating a better confidence level, but radar looks like it's still pretty good as far as a tornado. Hail size up around golf ball size at this point in time. You guys are watching out here in western Arkansas. This is of no threat to you. It will stay in a far eastern Oklahoma, in Delaware County, and up into eventually what's left of it in Ottawa County. Now, the other tornado warning that we have, the other storm, it deteriorated pretty quickly. So this one may not last that much longer, but we'll sit here and monitor it for now. So I'm going to do a couple of things here. If you have anybody in this area, just tell them, say, hey, AT's broadcasting, go check it out. It's a low top supercell, 30,000 feet only. So when I say tropical, that's one of those indications of a tropical air mass type situation. You call it a low top supercell, if you will, because normal supercells in this environment can get up around 50 to 60,000 feet, and we're cutting that in half, 30,000 feet. So that's what they call a low top supercell. It's got a good hail core with it, which is the purple shading, which means you're definitely going to get some golf ball size hail, or a little larger, maybe up to 2 inches in diameter with that. Should not be any bigger though, because of the limited height that this storm is at. It has to cross over enough distance in the freezing level to really build the ice size. So golf ball is a pretty good estimation at this point. Okay, let me look at some other things. It's got a good structure to it. So this spot on the ground is the rotation track coordinate with it. So if I were to plot this in a two-dimensional view, it looks like this. And then if I go upstairs, it looks like that. And then I can take one of these just to estimate the strength and exact location. Another way to visualize this on the velocity couplet with it. Interesting. Inbound winds to the radar are a lot stronger now, so it takes away for this particular custom scene. Usually for a tornado you get really good data on both ends, but like I said, it's a different environment and it's a little weaker wind shear, which usually means a weaker data on that aspect. Let's see here. I believe algorithms are only suggest about an EF0. Delta V is about 50 knots, 60. So I'll be, like I said, probably an EF0 tornado. For a probability of an EF1 tornado is only 33%. So right now it'd be a weak one. Let's see, we do have a ham radio spotter in Maysville who sees rotation. That report did not say he sees a tornado though, which may be why we didn't see much in the velocity data when I looked upstairs. But since this thing is kind of produced off and on over the last 15 minutes, that's usually kind of how tornadoes work, so it's not surprising. They rarely just stay on the ground and just keep going. About 61 knots, so speeds come up now in the gate-to-gate area. Still going to be an EF0 though. Let's take a look. So hail core's falling down southeast of Sycamore, so you guys can get some pretty good sized hail out of this on East Road 440, just southeast of town. That's where the largest hailstones will be. Looks like it might be becoming a little bit more disorganized. It might actually be getting a little weaker. Yeah, I don't see the consistency in all the products for a tornado confirmation at this point. But like I said, I can change this by second. So if you don't have my weather app and you live in this area, make sure you get it. AT's Weather to Go. It'll keep tabs on this tornado for you and will help predict if one's going to form next and give you a heads up even before the warning comes out. It's the only app that'll do that. Just so you know, it's proprietary algorithms. There's a lot of weather apps out there, so I'm sure you guys have probably 2 or 3. But this will be the only one that can actually perform that function. It's called AT's Weather to Go. You can look up AT's Weather on Apple and Google Play. So right now, still some broad rotation. Good. And we're at about 3,900 feet elevation. Let me take a look here. Even whenever it was producing a tornado earlier, I had a lot of good inbound velocity for the radar, but it did not have very strong outflow, outbound velocity. That's the red color. So I don't expect that to change. Got good spectrum width though, which is noise or variance in that spot where the tornado would be. Well, it just disappeared now. But what that means is, as the radar hits that area, there's so many particles moving in different directions that can estimate the strength of how much variance you have. In other words, how strong the mesocyclone would be, the circulation. So right now, I would envision it being a nice wall cloud, low to the ground, occasional tiny funnel maybe trying to form off and on, based off these parameters that come and go every volume scan. And it may not ever come down the ground again, or it may, touch down briefly. They've only been brief, and as far as I know, they've been weak. At least the data suggests they've been weak, although, it did go over some trees, so those did get picked up. If you're just tuning in, we're looking at storms in northeast Oklahoma. There is a tornado warning in effect for the west of the town of Maysville and east of Sycamore. So it's passing in between. Just stay in your shelters, though, if you live in this area. There was some eyes on it a while back. What's that, about 5 minutes ago? Like I had a wall cloud with it. No eye confirmation since then of any changes. It's coming up on 20, State Highway 20, here momentarily. Just crossed over, as a matter of fact. New scan just came in. So it's over 20 and North-South Road 469, which is putting it about 3 miles northwest of Maysville. And also about probably 5 miles east of Sycamore. So that is a rotation area of the storm. No visual confirmation of a tornado. Doppler radar has been kind of right on the edge. Estimates of a tornado probability detections of about 28%. I've seen it much higher when we actually had a confirmation. So as long as this number stays lower, maybe that's a good thing for us. It updates constantly, changes by the minute. The new one just came in. Let's see what it shows. 29%. It was 28% a moment ago. Again, no other tornadic storms in northeast Oklahoma or Arkansas for that matter. So we're just kind of focused in northeast Oklahoma right now. The last county, Delaware County, then Ottawa County. Those are the 2 counties that need to keep a heads up for this particular storm. The rest of you are going to get a little lightning with those other ones, maybe some small hail, some gusty winds, but this is the only storm that means business. So indications are might have a brief touchdown. Let me see another parameter here. It's close. So we'll just treat this like it could, if it's not, touchdown anytime. Again, this is north of 20, coming up on East Road 400. It'll pass east of the intersection of 400 and 680, South 680. Let's see here. Indications are it would still be a very weak tornado if one were to occur. So an update on this a few minutes ago from the Weather Service. Severe storm capable of producing a tornado located near Maysville. Again, that's northwest there now. Moving north at 15. Tornado in quarter size hail. Radar indicated rotation. Of course, in the vicinity is Jay, Maysville, Grove, and Xena. So when I kind of gave you the idea that we can track it by a line, but it can waver a mile or two off that line, for example. So with the original warning, this is the yellow line with that original warning. Well, it kind of moved about a mile off of that, but it's still trailing that line, but it's a mile to the right or to the east of it. So these lines are pretty good, but there's always going to be a little give. But plus or minus a mile or two is a lot better than just putting up a box over a 30 square mile area and say take cover. At least as long as you're not along or near the path of this line, you can breathe much easier as you take cover. All right, I still see indications are that we've probably got a tornado right now. Currently, from this particular point, but it would be very, very weak. Delta V is about 50 knots, puts still an E of 0, but there is a blue area for the cross correlation coefficient with the non-rotation track algorithm, the velocity couplet, and the hook echo. So in my view, we probably have a small weak tornado currently ongoing in this area. The ZDR value is a little low, but not really, really low. It would get a lot lower if the objects hit were much larger. We don't want large objects. That implies, buildings, residential areas, all that kind of stuff. Right now it's going over trees. So again, if it's going to touch down, perfect time to do it. There's literally nothing out here but trees. So if that's what the debris signature is picking up on, we're in good shape. So I have been told that only I could put you to sleep during a tornado warning. I'll take that as a compliment. It means you can still seek shelter and not panic. All you need is the information given to you in a calm, cool, and collective manner, and you can think much clearer and make sure you have everything in order. Let's see. So again, we're out here in northeast Oklahoma watching a lone low-top supercell that has at times produced a tornado, confirmed. And now is potentially producing one as we speak over some trees. Has not hit any businesses or homes or anything like that I'm aware of. Let's hope that stays that way. Movement is to the northwest. So you folks up in Grove, you're not in the tornado warning yet, but you're going to be in the reissuance of one. Probability of a tornado, algorithms keep adjusting. This is now down to 20%, so it's kind of hugging between 20 and 30 here since, last 10 minutes or so. So you're looking at a 4-panel plot. It's a little confusing. You used to like looking at this, just one radar picture. And a lot of the radars you'll see on TV from those guys, in the old days, that's all they showed you. All you got was this, because they were afraid to use a velocity map which looks like this, because they were afraid they couldn't convey this information to you, for one. Number two, most of them weren't trained in radar meteorology, so they don't even know what they're doing or looking at. Now that's starting to change, though. Last 5 years, 10 years, maybe tops, where you're getting this a lot more. And then the last couple of years, you're probably seeing more dual pole products as they become more comfortable showing you those things. And they call it the debris detector, tornado detector. You'll have different marketing names for it. The actual name is called cross correlation coefficient. But that's a mouthful, and you're like, I don't know what that means. But if I tell you it's a tornado detector, you're like, okay, I know what that means. Or I can tell you it's a debris detector. Detects debris in the atmosphere from a tornado. You go, okay, I get that too. So you'll see it, in the layman's terms, used like that. If you have a good meteorologist. If you've got a bad meteorologist or a bad weather person, you're just going to see the radar image with a general view like this and just tell everybody to take cover. You need to find another person if that's what they do. If there is no other person like that, you need to watch me. Because that's doing you a disservice. Anyway, but we're looking at this storm out here. It's west of Southwest City and south of Dodge and southeast of Grove. East of Sycamore and north of Maysville. So it's kind of in between all populated cities, which is good news. The wind speed's coming up quite a bit from that aspect. So we're up around 60, 65 knots. So we're in the strong EF0 to maybe approaching EF1 category. The location of this is south of East 370 and just near North Road 468, where it comes to an end. Currently still over, you guessed it, trees. Excellent. There is, I think that's just a building, not a farmhouse or anything. So I don't see much in the way of any structures. So a lot of times I'll just split the panel. It'll be velocity data on the right and reflectivity on the left. The velocity data is the winds in the atmosphere, where you have them coming toward and away of the radar. Let's go do this. Movement to the north at about 25 miles per hour. Earlier it was around 15, so that's been updated a hair. And it's moving to the north-northwest. Radar indicated hail size has come down to 1 inch. Remember earlier we had golf balls, and then we showed you where it dropped its load. And so it's gotten a lot weaker as a result. So the hail size is a good indication of the strength of the storm. When the hail size comes down in size, that means it's going to be smaller. So the Weather Service will continue with the tornado warning. So that means you go, folks in Grove, what you talked about a few minutes ago, you are about to be under a new warning for this storm. current location is right around East Road 360, where it joins up with D368. By the way, just a little trick for you guys: if you ever have to sneeze, like I just did, if you touch the tip of your nose, you won't sneeze. You don't have to cram your finger on it; just kind of lightly press it. Otherwise, I was about to let one rip. It's funny how it hits you at the most inconvenient times, right? All right, let's go back to this guy. So to give you an idea of the wind speeds that I was talking about, is the incoming wind's much stronger. So the wind's coming toward the radar around 55 miles per hour, but the winds outgoing are only 20 miles per hour. So that's a function of the trajectory, the vector of the storm is moving in relation to the radar beam and in relation to the atmospheric wind itself. Alright, so there's the new warning for Grove. Let's see. That goes until 9 o'clock. Still moving north at 23 miles per hour. Let's go read the wording on that. Weather Service issued a tornado warning for northeastern Delaware County and northeastern Oklahoma and southern Ottawa County until 9 o'clock. Severe storm capable of producing a tornado located near Southwest City, moving north at 25. And a radar indicator rotation at Grove, Waitonet, Narcissa, Fairland, Honey Creek State Park, and Twin Bridges State Park. This also includes, this is important, Interstate 44 between mile markers 299 and 303. So I love when they put the mile markers on here on the interstates. So if you're on the road driving and you're streaming this in your car from your app, your phone, and you can look at the road and go, hey, we're on 44. We're about to drive through this mess. What mile marker do you say? And I said between 299 and 303. And if you're driving up and you're in 298 and you see 299, you better stop. Don't even go further. Let it pass you by. So a little tip when you're in the car and you got to know where to go and you don't even really know what's going on. Okay. Still at 350 and 680 as far as the intersection goes. All I'm seeing right now is just indications of a mesocyclone, so probably a good strong wall cloud with it. I'm not seeing any indications of a tornado in the last data set. Hook still looks strong, looks impressive. That's this area here, this big red circle. That is the hook echo of the supercell parent storm, and it's moving to the north and west. And you're like, that is a very strange movement for a tornado to move, because they normally move east and northeast, right? This thing's moving northwest. Again, it's kind of wrapping around a very strong area of low pressure, which mimics the tropical storm environment. Hence the discussion I mentioned last night in the live, where I said the storms will be mostly under severe limits. There'll be a few marginally severe, small hail and wind, and then we might get a freak occurrence of just a tropical type, weak tornado, just because of the type of the shear in the atmosphere. So looks like we had a couple of those today. And even when I talked about that last night, there was no threat for severe weather across the state. In other words, the Storm Prediction Center puts out a slight risk, moderate, you've seen enhanced, all that. There was none of that. It was just a green for general storms. So I didn't read their discussion in that, but they did not paint a slight risk. So what that means is for you is that anytime there's a risk of thunderstorms, especially in May, just pay attention. As far as your daily events, like keep my weather app handy. It'll warn you if a warning comes out. It'll let you know there's a tornado developing before an actual warning comes out, so that's good. Anything to kind of keep you weather aware, especially on a holiday weekend when you're out, living it up. You need to stay weather aware. All right, so if you folks in Dodge, this particular storm at this point in time, it's probably going to track on the west side about a mile or two. So it's pretty close, so just go ahead and get shelters. As of this point in time, there's no indications of a tornado. A good wall cloud, I'm sure. Good mesocyclone. It's going to look ominous. But it could produce a tornado. We're just kind of sitting here watching it. So we're looking at coming up on East Road 330, South Road 685. So that's the intersection, roughly, of where this tornado, if one would be developing, where it would occur in that vicinity. Give it or take about a 1 square mile radius. So I'm kind of giving you this the best, because sometimes there's no road, so I'm giving you the closest road or intersection to that. So pat it about a mile either way so that you're covered. So again, 685, South 685 and 330, and that is going to put it from Dodge. Now Dodge itself is a very tiny community. And so it's not like it's got a downtown area, but coming into Dodge here on the south side of that region, it's about 2 miles out for the geographical notation for the town. The storms to the south of that, they got some lightning with them. Not a whole lot of lightning, just some. And this one out here, Spavinaw, east of there, has a little wind with it and a very strange appearance. This wind's up around 60 miles per hour, it looks like. By the way, our probability of a tornado that we looked at in the algorithms is only 6%. So it's come down quite a bit. Remember, it was up around 20 to 30 there for a while. So it's dropping, which is indicating a weakening structure to the storm. See if we can keep that trend going. Let's see. Anything else of concern? Nope. Again, you guys in Oklahoma City, if you have some outdoor things to do and you're just waiting for that rain to end, well, it's finally coming to an end. Probably a few sprinkles here for about the next hour, but anything steady is moved out. Let's see. So Storm Spotter confirms low level rotation. Again, low level rotation just means like a wall cloud. Doesn't mean a tornado or anything. Let's see. This Springfield. SGF. Again, indulging to be in your shelters. The wall cloud would be here on the west side. It's going to be on road 680, so south 680, and coming up on 300. Just west of there. So that puts about 1.5 miles on the west side. So see something. Yeah, I was totally going to butcher that town name. It's been too long since I've said it. So it's Cayuga. Cayuga. So Cayuga, you can stay in your shelters for this particular part of the storm. It'll pass on the west side. So we're looking at probably around 2660 and I need another street that shows up. Oh, 10, Highway 10. So 2660 and Highway 10, pretty close to that intersection. So we're getting on the north end of Delaware County in Oklahoma, coming up in Ottawa County. The circulation center is just past to the north and west of Dodge, crossing over Highway 25 here in just seconds from now. So that's 25 and South 670. It's the intersection of this wall cloud. To my knowledge, this has not produced a tornado for a while now. I lose track of time how long I'm on, but it's about 8:30. It may be an hour already since I logged on. Not sure. So you folks in Dodge, the storm is to your north and west. So if you're in your shelters, you can come out. Same with Southwest City. Same with Xena if you ever did take shelter. Or Jay or Sycamore or Maysville. There's still some storms around your area, but they're not the one of concern. Let's go look at this one again from Spavinaw. I had some wind with it earlier. Interesting little mid-level circulation feature. Oh, this is the this is the MCV or surface low that spawned all this stuff. That's why that transferred down. I gotcha. All right. So Cayuga still be in your shelters. Dodge, you can come out of your shelters. Grove, you're just going to have hail coming down, so you will not have a tornado threat for you. It's going to pass off to your east about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's passing about 5 miles to your east. And getting closer to Cayuga. And then coming over the lake. So it'll be over the eastern arm of the lake here in a moment. If it holds together long enough, it'll come up toward Miami, but it's going to be another 30 minutes from now. It'll be 9 o'clock. Probability of a tornado is 1%. That's a 99% probability of not a tornado. If it continues to disorganize and weaken, then I'll sign off, but I'll hang on a few more minutes. So what's interesting here, if I play this in motion, we're going to watch this storm move to the north. Well, you're going to see that line of storms under south of it. You're going to see those moving north, and you're going to see those getting closer and closer and closer. See that? They're almost about to combine. So if I come to the very last frame again, so go back, go forward. So this leading edge right here is about to run into this guy. So once that happens, toast, done. So if this thing is going to produce a tornado, it's literally probably got about 10, 15 minutes left, and then that's it. It's looking very, very ragged, disorganized. I believe this thing is already toast even before the southern line gets to it, which won't be much longer. All right. So you can see how the whole line right here is creeping up on this dude. And you can see how the hook echo right about in this position looked really good, and now what's left of that hook echo is bad. See, nice hook, and then it's gone. So I think we're going to wrap this thing up as a result. So again, Cayuga being your shelters as this remnants of this hook echo and the remnants of the wall cloud move overhead. And after probably about another 10 minutes, you can come out. And then what's left of this will head just west of it'll pass between Fairland and Waidenat. So just one tornado warning left. Reissued. Well, updated, not really reissued. Let's see. Any information here? It remains in effect until 9. capable of producing a tornado is located 4 miles northeast of Grove, moving north at 25. Radar indicator rotation. Again, Grove is in the area, but it's to your northeast. Waidanet, Narcissa, Fairland, Honey Creek State Park, Twin Bridges State Park will all see the storm moving by their region. And as we mentioned, the ones to take shelter, currently, Cayuga. That A throws me every time. And then just for the next few minutes, and then you can come out, and then it'll be coming, really just crossing right up the lake. This is going to go right over the middle part of the lake, and then passing west of Waidanet. But that's going to be in another, let's see, 15, 30. Let's see, 15, 30, 45 an hour. Yeah, about another 30 minutes. My open captioning is saying some weird stuff every now and then. I gotta train it better. Alright. That line's getting very, very close. Alright, location of this is just over the east arm of the lake, what's left of it. Which there's a road there that runs through that area. South Road 660 and East Road 245. Coming around the county line. So it's pretty much right on the county line here, south of that, of Delaware County into Ottawa County. Make sure you guys like and follow my social media accounts. They fly in at the bottom, so right down here. And you can follow me on all my platforms. Stay updated. Again, no official tornado with this. Tornado warning continues, mid-level rotation, but nothing has been sighted in a long time. Radar has not been very exciting in a long time as far as going in that direction. That's a good thing. So we're just kind of watching it here till it finally gives out, which it's doing so every new scan. If you're to ask me, I don't think it'll do it again. So I'm probably going to sign here in a second. And the warning will be canceled once this line from the south overtakes the storm. The warning's supposed to go till 9, but once that happens, they'll cancel it. Or at least they should. Now there will be probably about that time, there'll be about 15 minutes left in the warning, or 10 minutes left in the warning. So they may decide just to let it ride out since there's only 10 minutes left. But that's just semantics. So basically I'm just going to wait till this line merges. And then go from there. Interesting interaction is about to happen. So I'm almost kind of curious how this plays out. So we'll get a line merger from this line here, moving into the residual mesocyclone of this. Okay. At the same time, we have this little mesolow, which is a surface to mid-level feature, and this mesolow is hauling it. It's moving like this. So my question is, what happens when this mesolow interacts with what's left of this storm after this line moves overhead? You got three different meteorological processes all joining forces. So I'm just curious to see the end result of that. So we're just going to kind of hang out and watch for a minute. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that support. If you haven't had a chance, you'd like to, you can join my Facebook fan subscriptions. I've got the chat feature on YouTube. You can do a super chat. What do they call it? A super chat tip or something. Then you've got Patreon. So if you guys like to join that way, there's a link in the description of this video, and it's also on my website, aarontuttle.com. If you would like to support what I do. I was actually at the gym when all this was going down. I was doing cardio, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So finished that up and then got on. Pretty good hail coming in with this one east of Copeland. It's a little over an inch in diameter, about an inch and a quarter. Around the county line, east of town, about 2 miles or so. So Weather Service is already discussing letting the warning expire because of the combination here of the line into what's left of that storm. So this is where we had one of the confirmation of a tornado. Was near Siloam Springs. It was, what did he say? I think 2 miles to the northeast from Highway 59 near Watts. Briefly touched down. So it's over here near Siloam Springs, about halfway between Watts and the town. And then I think a couple of times just by radar estimates, it looked like it had touched down over some trees. Did some minor damage that way. So what is left of this circulation area is still over the lake. East Road 222 is the closest one I got. We're kind of running right up along Highway 10, actually, just to the west side. So with everybody on Highway 10, they should be able to see it very well. It'd be easy to spot, but there's nothing there to spot. But I'm sure it's scaring the bejesus out of everybody. Got some white in this. That's going to be some good hail coming down. Let's go take a look. First off, algorithm 1.3. I don't think so. Let's see here. It's coming down. There's some still lofted up. So it's got one pocket of hail dropping now, and it's got another pocket suspended up here. So this should be about golf balls coming down right now, and this would be some golf balls hanging back up here about 20,000 feet. So there's a mesocyclone, what's left of it in the rotation area. It's this little blue area floating around. See that? That's how you visualize the column in the atmosphere. So it's going up to about 10,000 feet. 5 to 10,000 feet is the column. Let's see. So visually, I like the other one better. Let's do this. I'm trying to give you a good visualization. If I can get the data to look good, but maybe smooth out of luck. Yeah. Let's try this. That kind of is a visualization right there. All right. It's not the best I can come up with. It's this will be your updraft region right here of where the mesocyclone rotation would be. When you get a good tornado and a really strong mesocyclone, it's real easy to visualize in this direction, but with this one being so weak, it's a little difficult. Alright, well, this line has come in and has cut off the back end of this storm. So Nothing to see here, folks, which is good. All right, so for you folks in Cayuga, if you're still there in your shelters, you can definitely come out. That storm has long passed. And if you are between, honestly, the warning is going to expire, so there's really no point. And waiting that, you're at the very end of the polygon box anyway, which they're going to let expire. The south end line has merged, so unless something crazy happens, should be able to let this thing go. I'm all for that. My apologies. Didn't get my nap today. And my pre-workout's crashed. Need more caffeine. Get my amino acids in there. I felt good hitting the gym though today and yesterday. First time in 3 months. Get that diet back on track. Go with it. Gain that COVID 15 pounds of good food sitting at home. That's no bueno, man. All right. What are we? 8:53. The warning is total till 9. So they're just going to let it go rather than canceling it, since it only has less than 10 minutes, and that's the lines have merged, which cuts off any warm inflow. It brings in rain-cooled air. So that's the lifeblood of any tornado hope is warm, moist, buoyant air. Cold, dense, sinking air is the opposite of what it needs. So when a storm feeds in cold, dense, sinking air, is what happens when this line is moving in from the south. Then it kills it. Yep, so the Weather Service said they're just going to let it expire. And these silly algorithms went up to like 26% for a tornado probability when they were down, 1% earlier? Because they combined the line, these two storms, and there's so much difference in wind shear between one group and the next. I think it just throws it out of whack. I see this a lot. Anytime they get elongated like this little blue line, it's garbage. Just throw it out, total garbage. It has to be more centralized, like this little circle here, to really do what it needs to be doing. So for example, there's a little area of rotation down here from that mesolow, but the probability of a tornado is 2%. But at least it has the idea of circling that region. It's a little off-centered, but it's close. Whereas this guy up here is completely out to lunch. Alright, well I was going to watch this little guy catch up to this cluster here, but it's taking too long and it's late. It's 9 o'clock. Alright, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do another live in half an hour for the forecast. I'm not sure. For the week. I got to think about it. I also got to eat. So anyway, we'll see. I'll figure it out. But meanwhile, thanks for watching. Appreciate your your support, whether it's just liking, following, or even financially. Doesn't matter to me. Even using my weather app. All of it I consider support, and I do appreciate that. You guys have a great evening. Thanks for watching AT's weather coverage of tornadic storms in northeast Oklahoma. All right, take care.